Hi there, this is Dr. Kent Gregory, and I want to welcome you to strategic management or business strategy. And we're going to start off with discussing, what is strategy and how does it apply to, business, scenarios. And this is something that's going to take us through the whole term. So let me go to the next slide and we'll take a look at some of the things here. So first, why strategy? What's the point? And the goal of setting up a strategy, at least according to our book, and I want you to consider as we go not only through this discussion today, but also through the term, uh, is the book correct? What do you think about it? And so, according to the book, the whole point of strategy is it's all for competitive advantage. We're going to talk about competitive advantage a little bit today, and we'll talk about it throughout the term. But I want you to keep that in mind. So, competitive advantage, that is the goal of strategy, at least according to the book. So, what is competitive advantage? Well, the book defines it as superior performance relative to other competitors in the same industry or superior performance above the industry average. So, a successful strategy leads to superior performance. And once you have superior performance, you can then say that you have a competitive advantage uh, over your peer companies, your competitors, or over the industry average. So, successful strategy leads to superior performance, and then that creates the competitive advantage. So, some other related concepts are sustainable competitive advantage, which means exactly as the term would imply, that you're able to sustain your competitive advantage over a long period of time. Competitive disadvantage, again, as the name suggests, is that you're at a disadvantage compared to your peer companies or the industry average. Competitive parity means that you're at you know you're equal to your peer companies or the competitors. So I said it would be somewhat obvious, and it is, right? Um, so some examples of competitive advantage, and I want you to think about this. Which companies out there have competitive advantage? And then I want you to think about why do they have it? And I'm not going to go through and list three, but other than to say that, one of the one of the obvious ones that we will talk about quite a bit is Amazon, right? So Amazon's one of them. And just so that you know, another one that keeps coming up is Tesla, right? So they're in the news quite a bit, both of those companies. So Amazon and Tesla are two of the examples. So I've taken those from you as potential examples that you can come up with. So I want you to think about some other ones. Those are the obvious ones. So when we go to the next slide, how does a company gain competitive advantage? So the firm or the organization has got to provide a couple things, or one of two things. First, they have to provide goods or services that are valued more than their competitors, right? So, if you think of Tesla, why are those cars valued more than other cars out there? And I think there are some obvious answers to that, right? Or they have to provide goods or services similar to competitors, but for less money. So basically, you're providing the same thing or an equivalent thing, if you will, but for less money. So people will be attracted to that good or service. Or to put differently, you got to create superior value uh, while containing your costs. And this is another theme that we'll talk about throughout the term is how do you create value while containing cost? And this will play into one of the themes that we'll talk about later on in the term, and it's a particular strategy. I'm going to move to a blue color because I like blue better than red, I think. And and of course, it's appropriate for this one. It's the blue ocean. Well, I'm going to run out of space. It's the blue ocean strategy. Uh, so blue ocean strategy is something that we're going to talk about later on in the So when we talk about value creation minus the cost to create whatever that thing is something that we call your economic contribution. And then the strategic positioning. So you've got to claim a unique position in an industry. And we can think of some examples to that. And I want you to think of that for a class. And then trade-offs. You can't be all things to all people. So you've got to be very specific and focused about your goals, what you want to do, whether you're going to go for superior value or containing cost as a strategy, or are you going to somehow combine them under a blue ocean strategy. So let me pause there and we'll pick up with another, or the rest of the introduction to chapter 1 in part 2.